Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our session on Power BI and data analytics with AI. So we have completed 4 days of the sessions, and today is our 5th day where we are going to understand a new topic, and it is related to DAX. Okay, so what is the purpose of DAX? Why should one learn DAX is what we are going to understand today, guys. Okay, so what we have learned in the last sessions? In the last sessions, we have understood the concepts of Power Query Editor followed by data modeling with Power Pivot. Am I right? Yes. Right. So in today's session, we are going to understand a new topic. Okay. So and the topic name is DAX, Data Analysis Expressions. So what is the purpose of DAX? Why should we learn DAX? DAX is a formula language, guys. DAX is a formula language. So using DAX, we are going to build some formulas. You remember within the formula bar in Power BI, Power Query Editor, or even in Power BI Desktop, we have used M language, right? So we are not exactly going to learn M language, but we are going to learn a formula language, and it is named as DAX. Okay. So what exactly DAX tell us is DAX help us to generate two main things. Using DAX, we are going to generate two main things, and especially to understand the DAX, we are going to take this data set. Okay, so this data set is related to a superstore, okay, in which you'll observe all the transactions, on which date we have received the order ID, okay, then followed by the shipping ID, when the order got shipped, okay, what is the mode of the shipment, the customer name, customer ID, all the details we have in this particular data set, and we are going to use this data set for DAX, guys. So let me use this piece. First of all, what is DAX? DAX is nothing but data analysis expressions. Data analysis expression. So what exactly does we are going to do using DAX is we are going to bring some expressions. Okay, DAX is a formula language. It's a formula language where we are trying to build some formulas which contains operators, functions, variables. So in short, we are going to build some expressions using DAX. Okay, so why should we learn DAX is DAX especially it helps us to create two main things. One is calculated column, also called as just column, and the other one is calculated measure. It is calculated measure. So we are going to make either calculated columns or calculated measures using DAX. So that is the purpose of data analysis expression. What is calculated column? What is calculated measure? You'll understand. A calculated measure is also called as measure, and calculated column is also called as just column. Let us try to understand both these things, calculated column and calculated measure. First, I'll talk about calculated column. What is calculated column in Power BI? Generally, we'll have the question, right? Yes. Before we understanding what is calculated column, You see, there is a column called profit. There is a column called profit. So this profit column is talking about each and every transaction. It is actually talking about each and every transaction. Either we have received profit or not. See, because generally profit cannot be less than 0. Am I right? Yes. So, but if you observe properly the values, there are some values which are less than 0, negative integers. Negative values is what you observe, minus 9, 950, minus 14. So, that is impossible, right? Can profit be negative? No. So, this profit column is actually talking about both loss and profit from each and every transaction. Either we have received profit or loss is what we are trying to understand. Okay. So, if the value is less than 0, obviously it is a loss transaction. We have received loss in that particular order. If the value is greater than 0, can I take it as like we have achieved profit? Yes. So this is what we are going to understand. In simple terminologies, if the values are less than 0, we can keep it as loss transaction. And if the values are greater than 0, we can say we have achieved profit. So if I ask you what is the total profit, what you are going to do? Obviously, you'll sum up all these values. Yes, you'll sum up all the values. And here, as a feature of Excel, Microsoft Excel, it will display you the average, the count, and the sum. The overall sum of the values present in the selected column. So this is the total profit that we have achieved from all the transactions. Is it a number less than 0 or number greater than 0? It is a number greater than 0. Obviously, we have achieved profit. Okay, if I observe all the transactions, if I consider all the transactions, I can clearly understand that we have achieved profit. But I just want to take only some few transactions, like I'll take top or the first 10 transactions. Okay. And if my requirement is like this, say I want to come up with a column, or I want to check whether we have achieved profit or loss in each and every transaction. From each and every transaction, okay, I want to know whether we have achieved profit or loss. We know what is the logic that we can apply here. Value greater than 0, profit. Value less than 0, loss. Am I right? Yes. That will be the logic, right? So, in short, how can I achieve it? There is a function called if. A logical function called if in Excel. Okay. So what does this if function does is, we are supposed to specify the test initially, the logical test. What is the logical test? It is nothing but if this value, if it is greater than 0, okay, if the value that is present in U column, if it is greater than 0, result me as profit, because greater than values should be resulted as profit. If the values are less than 0, I want the values to be written as loss. So we need not define both the conditions. One test case is enough, because if the value is greater than 0, it will return me profit. What if this condition is false? It returns me loss. So that is this syntax of the function. So I'll close the function and I'll click on enter. Okay, we are not supposed to use. Got it? We have to go with double quotations, guys. Single quotations are not accepted. Done? Yes. What did we get? The output. The output is loss. Why? Because a number which is less than 0. What is the number? It's minus 244. So, if I apply the same thing, the same formula for the next 10 transactions, as a formula got copied for the rest of few transactions or the next few records, it is resulting me whether we have received profit or loss. Am I right? Yes. So, this is called as calculated column. This is called as calculated column. What is calculated column? Calculated column is a column which we achieve through DAX. That means using a formula language, we are going to achieve this column. If you pass n number of values, you'll get n number of values as output. See, how many values am I passing here? I'm passing 10. How many values did I get as output? Obviously 10. Okay, obviously 10. So when I pass 10, I'm getting 10 as output, 10 values as output. This is called as calculated column. Okay, then coming to the next point, calculated measure. What is calculated measure? You understood what is calculated column? Calculated measure is nothing but it is a single aggregated value that we get when you pass n number of values. Even though if you pass the first 10 transaction values, say, if I want to calculate the overall profit for the first 10 transactions, what am I supposed to do? I have to sum up all these values. So it is resulting me the output here. What is the value? Minus 1598. So that means it's a loss. Right? So 10 values. So that means if we are passing n values and if you are getting only one value as output, minus $1,598. That will be a calculated measure. That will be a calculated measure. Okay. So calculated column is a column which will return when you pass n values as input, you'll get n values as output. But for calculated measure, you'll get only single value as output. So first of all, guys, you should be very clear on what is calculated measure and what is calculated column. Okay. If you don't understand the difference, because there is no use of going through the session, because DAX completely help us to build only two main things. They are calculated column and calculated measure. Making sense? Right. So if you understood both calculated column and calculated measure, now let me talk about, I'll use this data set and let us build measures and columns throughout the sessions. Okay. And Power BI supports around 600 to 700 functions, guys. Okay. There are around 600 to 700 functions in Power BI. Okay. As part of DAX. And it's not possible to cover all these functions, uh, within a session or a part of the series. Even not all the functions are mandatory. They're not mandatory. Okay. So whatever the functions that you're going to learn in today's class, they are very important. They are widely used in real time. Okay. So we are just focusing on the functions, top 30 functions probably. which will help us as part of real time. Making sense? But I would not like to discourage you. Whenever you have time, go through the official site of Microsoft Power BI. Okay, you can find the documentation for all the 600 to 700 functions in Power BI. The documentation is available. Okay, right. So let me go to, I launch Power BI desktop. Done. Yes. So let me load the data first of all. How to load the data? Under the home tab, you'll find Excel workbook because we have the data present in workbook. Okay. So we have it. We have the data in Excel workbook, right? I'm going to load the data that we have in Excel workbook into Power BI. So let me click on Excel workbook. Then you see here the data set named as Superstore. So let me select the Superstore data set. Then I'll click on open. So once clicking on after open, the navigator window opens, guys. Right. So if you observe in the navigator window, we have both two different sheets. One is orders and the other one is sheet 2. One is orders and the other one is sheet 2. So let me select orders. Yes, this is the data that we are supposed to work with. I'll select orders. Then I'll click on load data. When I click on load data, the data gets loaded to Power BI desktop and you'll find the data under data pane. Within the data pane, you'll find the data, guys. See, it's actually loading. Right. So the data got loaded to Power BI desktop and let us cross check whether it has loaded properly. Yes. If you see, all of these are the column names, the different field names. And what does the summation mark indicate? The summation mark indicates that specific columns are numeric. They contain numeric data. Okay. What if there is no, such kind of symbol in front of the columns? They do represent non-numeric data. They contain non-numeric data like, product name. Then if you observe next to the order date, which is a date related column, you'll find calendar kind of icon. Okay, that represents a date related field. See, even for ship date also you'll observe the same. A calendar kind of icon. So these are the different columns that we have within the table, within the data set. So let us start using DAX. And how we are going to build DAX? First of all, you should understand the requirement. Okay, especially in Power BI, you should understand the requirement. Accordingly, you have to go. You have to proceed. So the data got loaded. I'll take the first requirement as we have profit column. Yes. So using this profit column, can we calculate overall profit? Yes or no? Yes, we can calculate overall profit. Will overall profit be a calculated column or calculated measure? Will it result me in calculated column or calculated measure? Obviously, a calculated measure, because overall profit means you are going to get one single value as output, right? So, how to create a calculated measure? How can I do it? Is you see the three dots? You see the three dots here? These are called as ellipse. Okay. If you click on the ellipse, after selecting the query, what is the name of the query? Query is nothing but a table in Power BI. So orders, once after selecting the orders, the table name, next to the table name, you'll find three dots. They are called query, ellipse. When you click on the ellipse, you'll get multiple options, guys. Within this list of multiple options, as we are going to create a measure, select new measure option. Just click on new measure option. Okay. When you click on new measure option, a contextual ribbon measure tools open. What happened? A contextual ribbon measure tools got opened, in which you also observe the formula bar. See, DAX is a formula language. Okay. We have to build a expression using the formula language to achieve our requirement. Right? So let us create the measure. We are supposed to use this formula bar in which we are going to keep our formula. So what is my requirement? To calculate overall profit. So I'll keep it as total profit is equals to. So this would be my measure name. Total profit is my measure name. Is equals to, how can I achieve it? There is a function called sum. There is a function called sum. Sum function helps us to sum up all the values present in that specific column. Whatever the column that we specify inside the sum function, the values get summed up. Power BI, being very intelligent, it also helps us to give the list of functions that also start with S. See, S, sum is my function, but there are multiple other functions which also start with X, sum, S. So let me select sum function. And Power BI being very useful, if you observe, it is also displaying the syntaxes of each and every function. What is the syntax of sum function? Sum of column name. So that means I should just only pass the column into the sum function. But if you see, am I just passing only the column? I see category, city, country, all these are column names, fine. But what is orders? Orders is nothing but my table name. So which one should I follow? Should I directly pass the column name, or should I go with table name of column name? Which one should be followed? If that is your question, always the best practice would be, specify the table name followed by the column name. The best practice would be like this, guys. The reason why, since we are only working on one specific data, if you directly use the column name, it works. But what if you are working on multiple data? If you work on multiple different data sets, what happens is there might be a chance of columns getting same. See, between two tables, in some cases, columns will be same. Then the issue rises. So that is where it is always recommended to keep it as table name followed by column name. See, orders of profit, and make sure the column name should be provided in square braces. Then are we done with the syntax? Yes. Sum of column name. Sum of column name. Done. Close the function. That's it. DAX is very simple if you understand the syntax of the function. You can build your expression only if you understand the syntax of the function. So when I say sum of orders of profit, all the values present in the profit column get summed up, and the aggregated value, the overall profit value, will be stored where? Within this measure called total profit. Within this measure called total profit. So once after clicking on enter, see what happens. Done. Within this table, you will also find a measure. How are measures represented? With a calculator kind of icon. Before the measure name, you will find a calculator kind of icon. So this kind of icon represents a measure. Okay, so that means the overall profit is present in total profit measure. I'm done. Now, we have calculated total profit, but what is the value that is present in it? Always keep this in mind. In order to know the value inside a measure, you can do it only via visualization. You have to use any one of the visualization from the visualization pane to get the information that is present in the measure. Why? Because a measure, if you observe, this measure is stored in the table, right? Within the table only I have the measure. So if I go to the table view, will I have the information of that measure? No. Even though if you go to the table view, you cannot get the information that is present in the measure. Not possible. But when you create a column, when you create a calculated column using DAX, you can get the information of the values in the calculated column within the table view. So that makes the difference between calculated column and calculated measure. Anyways, I'll use a visualization called card visual. Under the visualization pane, we have one of the visual called as card visual. Okay, so I'm going to use card visual. What is the purpose of card visual? First of all, how to load a visual? How to load a visual into page, a report, is go and just click on that particular visual that you want to work with. See, in the fourth row, last column, there is a visualization called card visual. So when you click on it, immediately that visualization gets added to the page, and by holding it, you can adjust wherever you want to keep this visual. Okay, and you also observe the red color lines. So that helps us for alignment. They help us for alignment, guys. So post loading a visualization, you'll get a table or a square box to that entire visual, which means that particular visualization was selected in the page. Within the report, that particular visualization was selected. Yes, we selected card visual in the report. How to unselect a visual? When you click on this white space, immediately that visualization gets unselected. Selection, unselection. How to select? Go and just click on it. If you want to unselect, go and click on the white background. Okay. Now, let me select the card visual. And when you select the visual, you'll get all the options that are related to the visual. Down to it. If you observe here, you'll get all the options here. Fine. What does card visual does? Card visual is especially it helps us to give the information that is present inside a measure. It displays the information. Card, see, like you see here, 1, 2, 3. In the same way, I'll go and get this measure added to the card visual. See, how can I do it? You can drag and drop it here. This will give you, this will display the total profit, the value that is present in the measure, or you can just go and click on this, select this total profit. Even that will actually return you, display the value. Or there is also other way of, loading the value into the visual, drag the measure and leave it on the visualization. Any of these three will display the value that is present in the measure. Clear? So if you observe, I can have only one column into the field section. Why? Why can't we have many is, if you observe properly, there is no space behind one specific column. I cannot go beyond it. So, card visualization maximum allows only one specific column or whatever, the measure to be added to it. You cannot go beyond that, guys. Okay. So we have added the total profit to this card visual and I'm able to see the value, guys. And I'm able to see the value. So this is my overall profit. Can we also do some kind of formatting? Yes. How to perform the formatting is when you click on total profit, the measure name, the contextual ribbon measure tool opens. Okay. So within this, you'll have the name of the measure. You can change if you want to do so. Then the home table where that measure belongs to, the formatting options. Okay. The formatting options where you see the general options. Like if it is a currency related, yes, you can select it as currency and what kind of currency. By default, it returns us in dollars. Yes, anyhow, the data set is also from US. Okay. So if you want to change the currency and so on, you can go and change the currency from the list of options that are available, guys. Next to it, you'll have the decimal related formatting options, so on. Clear? So this is how we do create measures in Power BI. Using DAX, we go and create measures or columns. So measure is one single value that you get. Okay, an aggregated value is what you get. And how do you get the value or the information that is present inside a measure? Is via visualization only. Only by visualizing it, you can get the value that is present in a measure. Right. In the same way, can you also calculate average sales? There is sales column, right? We have calculated overall profit or total profit. In the same way, can I go and calculate the average sales? Yes. What will be the function? Average will be the function to calculate the average of the column. The sales column, I'll take the values and I'll be calculating the average of it. Tell me, will it return me? Should I create a measure or column? What will be my output? Will I get a measure or column as output, guys? What will be the output? The output will be a measure, average. So just select the table name, then click on new measure. Okay. And rename it as, I'll give my measure name as average sales is equals to, the function will be average. The function will be average and specify the column. See, if you observe, the syntax is very simple. What is the syntax? Average of column name. Average function of column name. So what is the column that I have to pass? Sales column. Then I'll close the function. I'll click on enter. So this will create me a measure. Within the table, you'll observe a measure got added. So first of all, I'll add a card visual to the page. And if you observe guys, now properly, the red color lines help us for aligning. See, for alignment, the red color dotted lines are going to help us. Suppose adding a card visual to the report, I can bring average sales to it. Done. The measure if I add, I'll get the overall average of the sales column. Overall average of sales column. What if you have a question like whether the output that you are getting is right or wrong? If you have such kind of question, go to Excel and just select that specific column. When you selected the sales column, is it returning as the average? What is the average of sales? 228.22. Is it the same value that we got, guys? Yes. You can go precisely also. Depending on the number of decimals that you want, you can get the value exactly as is. Okay. So this is how we do create calculated measures. Okay. Fine. How to create calculated columns? How to create calculated columns is the process will be same. Okay. How did we create measure? In the same way, we are going to create a column. But instead of selecting new measure option, we'll go and create new column option. See, the first 1 and 2. This is for creating measure, and the second one option is for creating a column. So let me click on new column option because let us create a calculated column. But before that, we have to understand the requirement, what we are going to create. So let us create this column, whatever we have discussed. Okay, let us create this calculated column. What does this column say? This column says whether we got a profit or loss from each and every transaction. A profit or loss from the transactions is what the calculated column is informing us. So let us create this column. So I'll keep it as the calculated column name as profit or loss. Profit or loss. Now, which function should I use? Because earlier the two requirements are very simple. Calculating the sum and next one is average function. But from here onwards, we are going to learn some functions which are very important. Okay, like there is a function called logical function called if. If the same if function is what we have used in Microsoft Excel also. Power BI being a part of Microsoft, we have the same if function in BI also. Okay. What does the syntax say? The syntax is logical test, comma, result if true, comma, result if false. So that means within the if function, I have to keep at least two values, two parameters is what I have to pass within the if function. Why not the third one? The third one that you see here, result if false, is an optional value. How do you understand whether it is optional or not is, you see the square braces. So this square braces represents the values can be given as optional. Whether if you would like to mention or not, it's up to you. Right? So what is my logical test is the values that are present in the profit column. Within this column, okay, if they are greater than 0, that is my condition. So I'll keep it as profit. If orders of profit, if these values are greater than 0, so this is my logical test, guys. Okay. After logical test, I'll specify the comma. Immediately see, it is asking us to specify result if true. What if this test is true? What if the values are greater than 0? Then it has to return me as profit. It has to return me as profit. And make sure that you use double quotations. Don't go for single quotations. It will throw us error. Okay. What if if the test is false? Then it has to return me loss. I'm done. Did I specify all? Yes. The logical test. So what if this test is true? It has to return me profit. What if this test is false? It has to return me loss. Then I'll close the function. I'll close the function. So once after clicking on enter, this will create me a calculated column. You see, profit or loss is my new calculated column that we just created now. And if you observe, a calculated column will be highlighted with a symbol like a table in which only one column will be highlighted. See, this is the symbol that is used for calculated column. Making sense? How to get the values that are present in this calculated column? Because in case of measures, we were able to see the values within the measures using visualizations. Using visualizations, different visualizations, we can get the information that is present in the measure. Right? But now I created a column, right? So we know how a calculated column gets created. If you pass 1000 values, calculated column will return you 1000 values back as output. So you can get the values. You can see the values that are present in profit or loss column in table view. Within the table view, where you can see the preview of your table, the data. If you are scrolling towards your left hand side, I mean to the last right hand side, you'll see the column profit loss gets created. Profit loss, the new calculated column gets created. Observe. Is that done? Yes. It is done. So this is how we create different measures and different multiple measures, multiple columns upon the requirement, guys. So what is the main purpose of DAX? The main purpose of DAX is to create only two main things. One is calculated measure and the other one is calculated column, right? I hope so far whatever you have learned as part of today's session, okay, with respect to measure or column is very clear. Now let us go and learn many more functions to build multiple measures and columns. Right. Fine. So what is the first tile indicating? Because each and every visualization is called a tile. Each and every visualization is called a tile in report or dashboard. Okay. Yes. So the first one is indicating the total profit of all the transactions. Okay. So within from all the transactions, this is my total profit and this is my average sales. Fine. What if I want okay, let me create the requirement first of all. Yes. So there is a column called category. Yes. The orders are categorized into three main categories. They are the orders coming from furniture, office supplies, and technology. Okay. What if I want to calculate the total profit coming from furniture category? Is that possible? Because earlier we have created the total profit. We got the total profit value. Fine. What if I want to get the total profit coming from only furniture category? Is that possible? Yes, it is possible. How? There are two ways. One is via visualization. Directly there is a visualization called slicer, which is in the fifth row, third column. I am highlighting it. When you hover your mouse, it gives you the name of the visualization, slicer. Okay. So what does this slicer does is, it helps us to filter the data. Okay. So let me add slicer visualization to the page. I have added the slicer visualization to the page and I have selected it. Now I'll bring the category column to the slicer visualization. When I add this category column to the slicer visualization, what happened? There are also some blank records. Anyways, ignore them. It is going to display all the unique values present in that column. Whatever the column that we have added to the slicer. So we have furniture, office supplies, and technology. Okay. When I select only furniture, what happened immediately? The charts within the report or the page, they interact. You remember on day 1 and day 2, we have understood the tiles or the visualizations in report level, they interact with each other. Whereas the same interaction is not possible in dashboard. In dashboard, the interactions are not possible. Okay. See, when I unselect, it is displaying me the overall profit. When I select only furniture category, it is displaying me the profit coming from furniture category, the sales, the average sales from furniture category only. So that is the purpose of slicer. It helps us to filter our data. Okay. So this is one way of doing. If you don't want to go with the visualization, you can do the same requirement. You can get the same output done using DAX. How? There is a function called calculate. We understand this is one of the important function, guys. Calculate. Okay. Focus. So first of all, are we going to create a measure or column? I told you the requirement. The requirement is the total profit coming from furniture category. So is it a measure or column? Obviously, it will be a measure, right? So select the table name first of all. When you click on the ellipse, you'll get the list of options. Click on new measure. The contextual ribbon measure tools gets open. So keep the name of your measure. Then measure name is furniture profit or profit coming from furniture, whatever you want. You can name your measure as per your wish, as per your requirement. So I just mentioned it as furniture profit, and in order to achieve this requirement, we have a function called calculate, one of the widely used function in DAX. So just go and use calculate function, and what do you see? The syntax, expression, comma, filter one, comma, so on. So that means initially you have to keep the expression. What expression that you would like to calculate should be kept. Next to the expression, we should keep the filters, which helps us to filter the data. So my expression is nothing but I'll sum up the values, as we are going to sum the values which are in profit column. We know that we have to sum up the values that are present in this profit column. So this becomes my expression, comma. Now, what is the use of calculating the sum of all the records? No use, right? We should sum up the profit values only for the records which contain the category as furniture, where the category is named as furniture. So that filter should be added here, guys. That filter should be added here. So what should be the filter? The category column value from furniture, from the orders table, should be nothing but furniture. So this should be kept as it is. This value should be kept as it is. Only if the case is matching. Okay. Then it will try to filter these records wherever the category values are furniture. Only for those records, the filtering will be done. And for those records, the summation of it sums up the values present in the profit column, and then it displays the output. So once after completing the syntax, just you are supposed to close the function, click on enter. Click on enter. So this has created as, it has created a measure named as furniture profit. So let me add this furniture profit to the page. For that, I'm going to use a new visualization called card new visual. It is same as card, but there are small differences between card and card new visual. We'll understand, guys. Yes, I'm doing the alignment. Right? Now, to this card new visual, I'll go and add the measure furniture profit. The measure furniture profit I have added to the card new visual. So when you deselect this measure, what is the differences that you observe between card and card new? A card visual will not have any boundaries, but for a card new visual, you'll observe the boundaries. See, the visualization or the tile will have boundaries even after unselecting. I did not select. Okay. And the measure name for card visual will be displayed below, whereas for a card new visual, the measure name will be displayed on the top initially. So that makes the difference between card and card new visuals, guys. So not to cross check whether this is the profit coming from furniture category or not, I'll just select this furniture option. See, from the slicer, if I select the furniture, immediately it will interact. See, so the first value and The value that we have in the total profit and the furniture profit should match. Why? We have selected only the category of furniture. The values coming from furniture category. So this is how we go and do calculate the requirement by specifying the different number of filters. Yes, you can provide n number of filters within the calculate function. Now, I'll give you a small task. I want everyone to work on it. Okay. So there is a column called region. There is a column called region. So within this region column, we have again different values like central, east, west, south. Okay. So if I ask you to calculate what is the profit or what is the sales coming from south? So how we are going to work on this requirement, guys? My requirement is to calculate the sales from the south region. I just want the total sales from south region. Only south region. How can I do it? Can I use calculate function? Yes or no? Yes. I can go and use calculate function. Okay. So I know that I'm going to build a measure. So I'll click on the ellipse. I'll click on new measure option. Now, post clicking on the new measure option, you should give a name for your measure. It is nothing but South region sales is equals to. So what is the function that I have to use? We know in order to calculate the total sales, we have some function. But are we calculating total sales? No. We are calculating the sales coming from South region only. So I have to use calculate function because I can achieve my requirement by you coming up with a filter within the calculate function. So in the calculate function, I'll specify the expression. I'll specify the expression. What should be the expression? Sum of sales. So these sales values will be summed up based on the filter. What is the filter that I have to specify? The region column from the orders table. Consider only the records where you see the values as south. Only the records which belongs to south region. So this is my filter. Once after specifying the filter, I'll close it. Because I'm done with the DAX expression. So this is how we go and calculate whatever might be the requirement. You can achieve the requirement by specifying the filters. And you can come up with n number of filters. N number of filters are possible. They are possible within the calculate function. You can do it. I'll click on enter. See, observe guys. What happened? Did it return me a measure? Yes. What is the name of the measure? South region sales. So for this, I'll go and use card new visual only. I'm going to use card new visual. Okay. So to this card new visual, I'll be adding my measure. So this is the overall sales coming from South region. And I can align. Accordingly, I can align. I can adjust. See. So when I say the sales, Okay. So you can adjust accordingly. So far, we have used calculate function and we just we have went with only one filter. Am I right? We went with only one filter. But what if I want to specify, if I want to go with multiple filters, is that possible within the calculate function? Yes, I can also specify multiple filters. Okay, so let me create a requirement first of all. If my requirement is like this, I want to calculate the total profit coming from central region and technology category. From technology category and central region, I just want to calculate the total profit. Here, if you observe, there are two filters because I should keep one filter for region and the other filter should be utilized for category gates. So the same function will be used, but I have to go with two filters. So let me do it. Right click on, the ellipse. When you click on the ellipse, it will give you a list of options. Select new measure. Post selecting the new measure, the formula bar opens and specify it as, what is the name of the measure? It is Central Region Technology Category Profit. So this is the name of my measure. Okay. So what is the function that we'll use? Calculate. Calculate. The expression will be sum of what values? We are going to sum up the values that are present in profit column. So once after completing the expression, we'll specify comma. Now we have to come up with the filters. Specify the filters one by one. The filters will be like within the region column. Within the region column, the value should be central. So this will filter only the values in central. Sorry. The central region records will be filtered and next to it, what I'm supposed to specify? Can I also specify n number of filters? Yes. I can go and specify n number of filters. You see the dots? You observe the dots? Which means you can have n number of filters. Right. So what is my next filter? My next filter is the values in the category. The values in the category column, they should be technology. Accordingly, the records get filtered. The records get filtered. Once having both these filters done, specify the brace. So even Power BI is also helping us displaying which brace belongs to the opening and the closing braces. Okay, so observe properly, guys. So this is our expression, our filter 1 and filter 2. So when I specify all the filters that I want, accordingly the data gets filtered and then it is going to calculate this expression, which means it will calculate the sum of profit values. Now I'll click on enter. I'll click on enter. Did it create me the measure? Yes. Central region technology category profit. So I'll load a card visual. Then to this card visual, let me add my measure. So this is my profit coming from central region technology category. central region, technology category. Can we cross verify it? Is it possible? Yes, it is. How you know? We have the slicer, right? The slicer. Yes. So within the slicer, what is the field that got added initially? Category? Yes, category is the only field that we have in the slicer visualization that we added to the slicer visualization. Can we also add any other fields? Can we add any other columns? Yes. If you observe, there is space, white space. Okay. So that means we can add n number of columns. So let us drag or let us add the region column to it. See, I have added region column. Now, what is the measure that we have calculated? Central region technology category. So let me go to technology category. Within the technology category, let me select only central region. Did we get the same profit? Yes. I just formatted these dollars. I can do the formatting here also, but observe the value. 33.7K, 33.7K. Clear? So in this way, you can cross verify also, guys. The cross verification can also be done using the slicer visualization. So one thing that you have to observe here is the calculated function, the importance of calculated function. It helps us to calculate the expression that we specify. Okay. So if you observe, the calculate function is calculating what? It is calculating the expression based on the filters that you specify. And these filters can be displayed as per our requirement. How many filters? You can come up with n number of filters. That's not an issue. Okay. So that is why calculate is one of the important function in DAX, data analysis expression. Right. So far, we are just creating only measures. I'm just creating only measures. Can we also go and create any columns, calculated columns? Yes. So let us do one thing. Let us calculate some columns. I'll go to table view so that we can see the preview of the data. We can have the look on the preview of the data, and then accordingly we can get our requirements done. Yes. Let us work on a few functions that are related to date related functions. Okay. Right. So first of all, there are two columns. One is order date and other one is ship date. Order date represents the date on which we have received the order. And if you observe, all the dates are from 2021. So that means the transactions are recorded from the year 2021. And accordingly, as per the order, we also shipped the order and we have captured the data related to the ship date. Both of these are date related columns. Now let me format the values that are present in the date columns. See, when you select that specific column, you'll get the contextual ribbon column tools open, which will display the formatting options. See, if you want to format the date values, if you're not satisfied with this date, with this kind of date, okay, you can also make it short. See, like this: month, day, year. Or if you don't want to have year completely as per your requirement, okay, in which format would you like to have? You can go and select the format. I'll go with the short one: month, day, and year. I'll do the same for ship date also. I'll just format the values. to month, day, and year format. Am I done? Yes. So let us go and understand the requirement. First of all, so we have order date column. Yes. What does order date represents? The date on which we have received the orders. Right? Yes. So from this order date, can we extract only year? Is it possible for us to extract only year from the column of order date? Yes. If you remember in Power Query Editor, there are functions, there are options related to date. I hope you remember. The same output can be achieved using DAX. There is a function called year. There is a function called year. So what does this year function does is, it will extract only the year from the date column. So what will be the output, guys? It will be a calculated column. Because for all these records, for all the values of order date, it will return you output. So let me create a column. See, I need to just click on new column, and here the formula bar opens. Specify your formula. Year. The name of my column, I'll keep it as year. And the function is also here, guys. The function is year. Okay. So let me select year. When I select year, what is the purpose of year function? Year function extracts the year of a date as a 4-digit integer. So that means the entire 4-digit year will be returned as output. Right? So what does the syntax see? The syntax is very simple. Year of date. Year of date. So I have to pass the date related column. What is the date related column? It is order date. Order date is the column in which we have dates, date related column. Once after specifying, close the function. When you close the function and if you click on enter, this year function will extract year from all the values. See, it has extracted the year from order date column. You can cross verify, guys. 2021, 2021, so on. From here onwards, 2022. So that is the purpose of year column. Year function. Got it? In the same way, can we extract month from a date column? Okay. Can we extract month? Yes. Can you guess what will be the function? The function will be month. The function would be month. So we know that we are going to get a calculated column as output. I'll click on new column. Done. So let me keep the name of my measure, the column as month is equals to, the function is also month, guys. The function is also month. What am I supposed to pass? I have to pass the date column. What is the date column? It is order date. It is order date. Specify the date related column, then close the function. Once after closing the function and clicking on enter, the month function will extract the month from the date related column. It will extract the month from the date related column. Done. Can we also extract day? Is it possible to extract day? Yes. There is a function called day. Let me do it, guys. There is a function called day. So I'll create the name of my column as day and I'll use day function. Done. Okay. So what I'm supposed to pass? I have to pass a date related column. So I'll pass order date. I'll pass order date, which is the column which contains date related values. And this will actually extract the day from each and every date values. See? And you'll observe all the days in the day column. What is 1 in front of month? What do you mean by that, guys? I did not get you. Acha, this one you're talking about? This 1, 2, okay. Let me talk about it. See, if I want to go to the next line, okay. So this 1, 2, 3, so on represents the line number. That's it. There is no specific meaning for it. Okay, don't get confused. Fine. So we have year, month, and day values extracted from a date column. Can we create a date column from these 3 columns where I have year, month, and day column? Okay. What are the 3 columns that we have? Year, month, and day. I'll use all these 3 columns. I'll use the columns and then I'll be creating a date column. Let us do that. So as we are going to create a new column, click on select new column. Done. The new column name is date. Okay. So as we are going to create dates, we have to go and use the function date. We have to go and use the function date. What does the syntax for date represents? The syntax for date represents as year, comma, month, comma, day. So that means these values that you see here should be passed as it is. The year column, then next to it month column and day column. That's it. Okay. So I'll pass, what is the year column? It is orders of year, comma. What is month column? Orders of month, comma. Day column, orders of day. So when you pass all the 3 columns, see, I'm passing all the 3 columns, just close it. This will return me the date column. This is going to return me the date column. See? So by default, it is also keeping the data type as date time. If you want to do the changes, if you want to just keep it as date, yes, you can do it. And for this date, you can also do the formatting. As you see multiple formats for the date, yes, accordingly you can format. You can choose the option in which format you would like to keep your date. You can select the date. That specific format can be selected and you can have the format. Clear, guys? So these are some of the widely used date related functions coming to the DAX. Okay. So next to that, we also have okay. Yes. How did we create this column? Using if function, logical if function. So what does the syntax for the if function is? The test, the logical test, comma, What is the result if it is true and what is the result if it is false? Right? Good. Now, let me create a scenario in which I would like to get the output like this. See, I'll take sales column. Let me take sales column. Okay. So from this sales column, I would like to make the sales column into bins, groups. I would like to discretize sales values. What is discretize means? Discretize is nothing but you are grouping the values. You are going to create some groups. Assume I have a requirement like this, guys. If the sales values are less than 1000, if the values are less than 1000, they should be under the low bin. Okay, the group name should be low. If the sales values are less than 2000, the group name should be medium. Okay. What if the sales value are less than 5000? The value should be, the group name should be high. If the sales values are less than 10,000, their value should be very high. If the values are greater than 10,000, the output should be written as extremely high. For better understanding, I'll keep my requirement here. So try. How can we achieve this requirement? I want you guys to try. Okay. So if the values are, if sales values are less than 1000, the output should be written as low sales. If sales values, if they are less than 2000, what should be the output? Medium sales. The output should be given as medium sales. Fine. What if it is, if the values are less than 5000? The output should be written as high sales. What if the sales values, if they are less than 10,000? Sorry, I'm using greater than, my bad. Is it clear now? Yes. So if the sales are less than 2000, medium. If it is less than 5000, it should be marked as high. And if it is less than 10,000, it should be marked as very high. If the sales values, if it is greater than 10,000, they should be written as extremely high. They should be named as extremely high sales. So this is my requirement, guys. So what I'm trying to do here is, I hope you guys are aware of discretization. What does discretization means? Discretization is nothing but you are discretizing the data, you are binning the data, grouping the data. Okay. So you'll go and check the value for the sales for each and every record. Wherever the condition is met, accordingly, the output should be given. So initially it checks this condition. Okay. If the condition is met, the output should be written as low. Okay. What if the condition is false? It has to go to the second one. Right? Accordingly, it goes and checks for the condition. If the condition is met, it returns me as medium. In the same way, what if this condition is also false? It goes beyond. So if this is my requirement, can I build such kind of requirement? Because I know it's clearly we are going to create a calculated column. Can we create a calculated column using DAX? Yes, we can. Which function can be used? And we'll be using if function only. I'll be using if function only, guys. But It's not single if function that I'm going to use. I'll be using multiple if functions. So here we are going to have the nested concept of if, right? Anyways, let me create the column. I'll start. Yes, I'll name the column name as sales categories is equals to. So the function that I'm going to use is if. I'm going to use if function. What is the logical test? The logical test is very simple. If the sales values, if they are less than 1000, okay, what should be the output? If this condition is met, the value should be written as low sales. It has to return me low sales. Done. Should I specify next result if false? No. If I specify result if false, I cannot come up with the other conditions, right? So next to it immediately, I'll use one more if function. I'll use one more if function within which I'll continue specifying the logical test and the true case only. Okay. So if the sales values, if they are less than 2000, what should be output? The output should be written as medium sales. Right. Then next to it, what is the next condition? I'll go with one more if condition, if function, where the test will be like if the sales values, if they are less than 5000, the output should be written as high sales. Okay. Then one more if function I'm going to use. I'll be continuously using if function. So within this if function, I'll specify the last condition. What is the last condition? If sales values, order of sales, if they are less than 10,000, what should be written as output? If this condition is met, it has to return me the output as very high sales. Very high sales. And finally, should I specify one more condition, guys? Is it required? No, it is not required. The reason, as we have specified all the conditions, if all these conditions are false, obviously it has to return one other value. So that value will be extremely high sales. Extremely high sales. Done. Now I'm supposed to close all the functions that I have opened. All the if functions that I have opened should be closed. So I'll use the Power BI is going to help us see. If I specify one, I have closed one if function, then the second one, third one, fourth one. So make sure that you close all the functions that you specify within the DAX query. Clear, guys? Yes. So I'll explain one more time. See, if this condition is initially met, immediately the output will be low sales. What if this condition is false? It goes to the second if function, the inner if function. It checks for the condition again. If the values are less than 2000, it returns as output as medium sales. What if this output is, if the condition is false, it goes to the third condition. It checks for the condition again. If the values in the sales column are less than 5000, it will return me the output as high sales. It will return me the output as high sales. What if this condition is also false? It checks for one more condition. Okay. So in this way, what if all these conditions are false? Directly it returns me the output as extremely high sales. That is how we are using multiple if functions. See, when I click on enter, you'll observe all of these are the values. Clear, guys? So that's how you can create complex DAX queries as well. Depending upon the requirement, you can create either calculated column or calculated measures. Making sense? Yes. So next to so far we have created multiple calculated columns. We have created multiple columns. Let us go back and create some measures. Let us create some measures. If your requirement is like this, anyhow, it's very clear that within the data we have only, the values or the transactions till only 2024. Okay. We have the transactions only from 21 to 24. Okay. But this is 25, right? 2025. What if I want the profit for today? If I want the profit to be calculated for today, assume that you also have data for today. You are running a business and you are also recording your data. You are storing your data. Okay. And you are also doing some analysis using Power BI. Okay. All this is a story, but assume. If that is the case, can you calculate the profit for today? Is that possible? Yes, it is possible. How? How can I calculate profit for today? Is first of all, we have to create a filter, because how can I get today's transactions from the entire data? From this entire data, I just want only the transactions, okay, that maps with my today's date. So that filter has to be added. How can we add filters? Which function help us to add filters? Calculate function? Yes. So let us do achieve our requirement using calculate function. So first of all, am I going to create a measure or column? What will be the output? What will be the output, guys? Will it be a measure or column? It will be a measure. Why? We are going to just get only a single value as output, right? Today's profit, which will return an aggregated value. So I'll go and click on the ellipse. From the list of options, I'll select new measure as the option. And I'll name the measure as today's profit. Today's profit. How can I achieve it? Using calculate function. I'll use calculate function where I have to specify the expression followed by the filter. Okay. So what will be the expression? Expression will be same, sum of profit, sum function within which I have to pass the profit column, because I have to sum up all the values present in the profit. But all the values, all the records in the profit column? No. So that filter should be specified. What will be the filter? The filter is nothing but from the order date column. From the order date column, okay, it has to take only the transactions that are related to today. And we can achieve it using today function. There is a function called today. There is a function called today. So this today function will actually map with the function that we have here. Okay. So whatever the function, what is today's date? It's 11th August 2025. So the same date will be used for filtering the records present in order date column. From this column, only the records with today's date will be filtered. Okay. So for those records, the profit will be summed up. That is how you can calculate today's profit. Anyhow, we know that it will be a blank. Why? There is no data for 2025, guys. The data that we are working is only for 2024, till 2024. Okay. So are we done? Yes. Let me go and check. First of all, I have to add a card visual. A visual should be added. Then I load the measure to it. See, today's profit is blank. Why? No records, no data. No data for the year 2025 itself. Right. Now, I'll ask you a question. Okay. So just use common sense and tell me, can I calculate yesterday's profit? Like how we have calculated today's profit? In the same way, can I also calculate yesterday's profit? Yes, I can. Good. If I can calculate yesterday's profit, how can I calculate it? Is the question. How can I calculate yesterday's profit? Come on, guys. How can I calculate yesterday's profit? What do you think? Like how we have a function for today? In the same way, do you also find a function for yesterday? Do you think, is there any function called yesterday? Yes, with specific date we can do it. But in a very simplest manner also we can do it. How you know? So let me go and calculate yesterday's profit. How? I'll create a measure again. So I'll just name the name of my measure as yesterday's profit is equals to, what is the function that we are going to use? It's calculate. The expression will be sum of what value should be summed up? Profit values. Profit column value should be summed up. Okay, this would be the expression. The filter that I have to keep here is the order date column. Order date. Within this column, if I say today, what happens? If I keep it as today, it will actually, consider the dates or the values with today's specific date. Am I right? Yes. But it should be kept as today minus 1. When you say today minus 1, This will calculate the profit of yesterday, guys. So in this way, you can go and calculate day before yesterday's profit. What will be the filter? The filter will be today minus 2. That's it. It's very simple. If that is the case, can I calculate what is the profit that we got on August 15th, 2023? Will you go and calculate in this reverse direction? No, not at all. Not at all. Then how you are going to calculate? Anyways, I'll click on enter. Let me complete this first. So this is how we calculate yesterday's profit. Okay. Yes. What if you have a requirement like calculating some XYZ? Okay, like assume calculating profit on a specific date, like calculating profit on August 15th, 2023. Will you sit and count all these numbers in back? Not required. For that, the filter has to be changed. What will be the filter? The filter will be, I'll use the same formula. Okay. So I'll change the name of my measure as profit on specific day. Profit on specific date. Okay. And this should be, the filter should be, so we are going to sum up the values of what? The profit column, right? Yes. So the filter will be the order date that we have. So within this order date, the values should match by specifying that value. For specifying that value, date value, we use date function. We use date function. Now we have to specify that specified date. What is the year? 2023, comma, month. What is August month? In number, it's 8, comma, next to it. What is the day? 15th August 2023 is what our requirement. So this is how we calculate profit on any specific day. On any given specific date, you can use the date function for filtering the records from the specific date column, and the expression will be calculated. Clear, guys? I'll click on enter. As we have the data for 2023, so for sure there should be a measure, there should be a value within it. I'll load a card visual first of all. Then what is the name of our measure? Profit on specific date. See. So that means on 15th August 2023, we had a loss. It's not a profit day, it's a loss day. Why? Because I see a negative number, right? On 15th August 2023, we did not get any kind of profit. It's a loss. So in this way, you can calculate, anything as per your requirement. So what is the main purpose of DAX? To create columns as well as measures, also called as calculated columns and calculated measures. So DAX is a formula language, and Power BI supports around 600 to 700 functions, guys. There are multiple functions, right? Yes. So one last requirement from my side. Okay. So far we calculated today's profit, yesterday's profit, profit on a specific date. Everything is fine. What if I want to calculate the profit between a range of dates? That means between a period of dates. Say, if I want to calculate the profit from 22 August 15, 2022 till August 15th, 2023. So a given period, between a period of dates, can we calculate profit? Whether we have profit or loss, can I calculate such kind of requirement? Okay, so let us understand how to create such kind of requirement. We know that we are going to achieve a measure. So what I'll do is I'll go and select a new measure option. A new measure is what I have selected. Then what I'm supposed to specify? I have to specify the name of the measure. It is profit for a period of dates or profit for a range of dates. It is possible, guys. We'll use the same calculate function only, but what we'll do is we'll change the filter. See, majority of the cases we are using calculate. Yes. So what I'll do is I'll use calculate function and the expression will be sum of profit. I have to sum up the values that are present in the profit column. So this will be my expression followed by the filter. What will be the filter? The filter will be order date because we are supposed to get the dates, the range of dates. How can we get the range of dates? By using the order date column, I'll specify the range of dates. So earlier, in order to calculate the profit on a specific date, we use date function. But now for a range of dates, where we have to use a function called dates between. There is a function called dates between. See? So it's better. What does the syntax see? The syntax says dates between function of the date related column, then start date, end date. So I'll remove this column here and I'll specify within the function order date will be specified within the function. See, okay. So this is my dates related column. Then what is my start date? How do you represent date? Using date function, I have to use date function again, in which the start year is 2022, month is 08, and the day is 15 August. So 15. So this is my start date, comma. Next to it, end date. How do you represent end date? Using date function again. Date of end date year is 2023. Month is same month, 8. Day is also same, 15. So understood, guys? Now you have to close all the braces one by one. Done. So dates between is a function which helps us to filter the dates depending on the specific dates that you mentioned. The records get filtered. Okay, start date, end date. Start date and end date. Accordingly, this will calculate the profit. This will calculate the profit for the range of dates. Let me click on enter. Done. Yes. So I load a card visual for the last time. just to know whether we have a loss or profit between this 1 year. Let us understand whether we have a loss or profit. Yes. So what is the name of the measure? Profit for a range. See. So for across this 1 year, we have achieved profit gains. Between the 1 year from 2022 August 15 till 23 August 15, there is a profit. So this is how we use DAX, data analysis expressions, to create measures and columns in Power BI. Okay, so experience you'll get more hands-on exposure. When you get more hands-on exposure in DAX, you'll get more familiar with the expressions, not just listening to the sessions. When you do hands-on, you'll get more exposure, guys. Right. So I have some questions. Let me solve. Yes. Vinay says, okay, if we enter some specific date, then the calculation of sum is come. So within the calculate function, what happens is initially the expression will be calculated, my friend. Okay, based on the filter that you provide, whatever might be the filter. See, earlier I have used the region as south. The region as south is a filter here. Category being furniture is a filter here. Here I have used two filters. So whatever the filter that you use, accordingly the records will be filtered, and then it calculates the expression. Is it clear now? Yes. Any other questions? Good going? Come on, guys. Use this time for your questions, technical questions. How to calculate the sum of profit up to sum. Yeah, that's what we are telling, right? See, what did we do here? I took two different dates. See, if you don't believe, what did I do? I have calculated the profit between two different dates. You can use the same dates between function as a filter. Specify the column which contains the date values. Okay. So within this column, specify the two dates, start date and date. Okay. From starting date till the ending date, you specify, you'll get the profit. Got it? And guys, if you find that the session went well, do hit on the like button, encourage us. And also share across your connections, ask them to learn Power BI. Yes. Good question. Any other questions? Any other questions for me? Yes, the feedbacking has been provided. So do subscribe to our channel. Ensure that you have subscribed and also hit on the like button before you leave, guys. Thank you so much for joining.